you had me thinking about my grandmother. She was something else. She was Catholic. She loved her some Catholic church. I think half of her is really excited about what I do right now. But, when I'm playing with my mala beads, I think about her holding her rosaries, When I start talking about Jesus, I think about her praying to Jesus. The commonalities are so much there. And we spend so much time looking for the differences, but it's all God. And that's what's so wonderful about the Science of Mind teaching. We know that it's all God. And so we can celebrate Catholicism, we can celebrate Judaism, we can celebrate Islam, we can celebrate the Methodists down the road. They got a cute little church on the corner, don't they? So, enough is enough. That's something else my grandmother used to say. Because when he had my cousin, Ricky, and I are about 3 weeks apart, and then my brother. So 3 crazy boys running around her house in Cincinnati. And she would come in, enough is enough! But there's another idea that I wanted to talk about with enough is enough. I didn't realize until we were thinking about this this month, the value theme for the Center for Spiritual Living is accountability. And I was like, I don't know about accountability. If I can, there's something about talking about accountability that set me up. I was like, I don't know, maybe I have to work on my hidden beliefs around that, because it's like, you're accountable. I felt like there was a finger pointing. But then I realized that, we are accountable to what we have, what we do, what we bring into our lives, and whether we have an appreciation that the lives we have bring enough value into our lives. And in our culture, I come to think that maybe we're a little bit into too much.
That's why we're having a yard sale.
You are going to love this talk. Because it does have something to do with that. Now, what did she say? Who?
Her. That's the one that you said she's gonna love.
Oh, because we have so much stuff. That's why we're having a garage sale, so people can get rid of some of their stuff. And maybe after this talk, you might think about getting rid of some of your stuff. I know I'm going to think about it, because that's why I paused. I looked over at Johanna because I was like, I have a garage. And my garage has not seen a car ever. Ever. But in the time that I've lived in my house, my garage has seen at one time 4 motorcycles. Now, how many of these do I have? But I had 4 motorcycles. Even crazier, I had 4 bicycles, and one of them was a tandem. And until Johanna moved in, I lived alone. What did I need a tandem for? Actually, my friend Sky and I, we used to do competitive tandem riding, mountain bike tandem. I'm going to call Sky on the phone right now. But my garage looks like Fibber McGee's closet. I mean, when I close, the garage door doesn't even close anymore. I have to go and race to it. You know how when your garage door hits something and it goes automatically back up? Mine does that. So I have to be inside the garage. When it comes down, I have to hold it so it won't go back up again. I've got to get into that garage this month. Thank you for the garage sale, right? And then into the closet. I mean, how many of you have the 5 to 10 pound clothes in the closet? Right? When I lose 5 or 10 pounds, this is going to fit again. And if I lose 5 or 10 pounds, why do I want to wear that old piece of anyway? I want something new to celebrate. I just lost 5 to 10 pounds. Get rid of it. Enough is enough already. I did get rid of the motorcycles. I now only have 1. I still have a couple of bicycles, but now there's 2 people in the house, so that works out okay. But we do have a lot of stuff. I might need it one day. I might want it sometime in the future. My aunt gave me that. My grandmother gave me that. I can't get rid of that. It's got sentimental value. We'll take a picture of it and get rid of it. How much stuff do we have that no longer gives us joy? Maria Kondo, who wrote this book, The Magic of Tidying Up, says if it doesn't have any joy, it's got to go. No joy, gotta go. She says another thing in her depth of understanding. I didn't realize, at first, I bought this book because I wanted to try and clean out the garage. And then I started reading it again, and I said, wow, this thing is full of spiritual principles. It's got some serious truth working in it. Here's one of them. When we really delve into the reasons why we can't let go, that part, we can't let something go. Bottom line is these last two. This is what got me. The reasons: an attachment to the past or a fear for the future. Whoa, attachment to the past. Oh, I remember that, you know. It was 1982. I was walking down 6th Street in Austin, Texas, you know, and the fear of the future. I might need that one day, you know. I might need that one day. Well, I have a third reason I'd like to add to this. A third reason. That maybe I'm just not trusting the plenitude of the universe.
Be careful now.
Maybe I'm not trusting that there is enough, and there always will be enough. But then that brings up the question is, what is enough? Now, I think we've missed it in our culture, the idea of around enough. Enough means adequate, complete to satisfy my needs and my desires. But for some reason, we need more than enough. I mean, so much so, have you noticed what they do to the houses nowadays? Like you you order a food, and it's become a phrase, I think it's probably in the dictionary, supersize it, everything. And we even supersize our houses, and what do they call them? McMansions. It's crazy. A friend of mine the other day, he just got a new condo. It's really sweet and everything. And he says, yeah, but I noticed in the neighborhood, they're McMansioning the neighborhood. I said, what? I look out, and sure enough, there's these nice, cute bungalow-type valley houses. And then there are these blow-up houses, you know? And it's just got like 2 people living in it. I get it. I mean, look, I am about comfort. I'm all about comfort, you know. I love to be comfortable. So I got a little fan blowing over here in case it gets a little too warm. So the wind is blowing. I want to be comfortable all the time. But I also question, how much comfort do we need? How much stuff do we need to hold on to? When the universe is going to give us exactly what we need anyway, and it's always providing more, I never have to worry about whether there's going to be enough air to breathe. Although after the climate pullout, maybe, we don't know. I'll try to stay away from there.
You're allowed to.
Yeah.
Oh, you are allowed to.
We're allowed to now. Right. We don't have an agreement, right? Yeah. You know, that great teacher, the good shepherd they call him, the way shower, the master teacher, the one I talked about that my grandmother loved so much that I like to talk about sometime. In John 10:10, he says, I have come that they may have life and have it more abundantly. What Jesus was talking about there is I've come to give a message to the people of the world. I got this idea that the universe is abundantly supplied, and just listen to me, folks. Trust me on this. And the guy, you know, gotta say, the thing about Jesus, if you take a look at what he did, first off, he wore this seamless garment. He had no job, you know. He just kind of cruised around with a bunch of guys and gals. He ate with rich people all the time. He wore a seamless garment, and he didn't carry any luggage. Wow. I think he understood this, that there is enough, that we have an abundant universe. In fact, if you have like a whole bunch of stuff, right? You got stuff everywhere. And then you go like, where is that thing? I know I need it. I think I got it. And you got to dig through, and you dig through, and you dig through, and you dig through, and you don't even find it, and you end up going to Home Depot to buy another one. If you didn't have all that stuff, you wouldn't dig through everything. You would just go straight to Home Depot. So not having too much stuff saves you time. And it supports the economy. So it's a good thing to like let go of some stuff, right? Yes. I'm working it for you, baby. I'm working it for you.
You're doing good, baby.
But one of the problems about this all is that what's missing, what's stuck in all our stuff that we can't find is belief that there is this abundant universe. This belief. Don't trust me on this. Trust Yoda. Check it out. Empire Strikes Back. Luke Skywalker, he crashes on the planet while he's looking for Yoda. Well, actually, he lands, but he lands in the swamp. And while he's sitting there, the spaceship goes down into the swamp, right? So Yoda says to Luke, lift it up. I can't do that. Okay, you can't watch. And he lifts it up. Yoda gets it right out of the swamp. And what does Luke say? I don't believe it. And Yoda says, that's why you couldn't do it. Don't believe it. Do we really believe that it is an adequately supplied, abundantly supplied universe? Do we believe that we have enough, that we have access to enough when we don't think we have enough? I don't think so. So this is to remind us this week. It's to remind you that there is always enough, that everything that we need, the universe has already laid it out there and supplied it for us. It's so great to not have to worry. Think of how much worry we get to leave behind when we realize that, one, I don't need that box, and in fact, I haven't even looked in that box in 5 years. I could just toss the whole thing out. And if something's in there that I needed, it's on the shelf at the store somewhere. I can get another one. So this goes to the idea of trust. In this thing called You, great book, Dr. Holmes says, there is only one God, one divine mind. This one is undivided. Hence, all of it is present everywhere. This one is undivided. The one is all encompassing. You see? God is everywhere. God is everywhere that you are. And you know what else? God is what you are. Because it's all encompassing. So anytime we even think that we don't have, anytime that idea of lack or limitation comes up in the consciousness, and it will come up, because we'll look and we'll say, I don't know where it is. But the universe knows where it is. It's like those stars that Eve was talking about a little while ago. If you sit in the silence of your own deep wisdom, the right star will come to you and you'll realize exactly what you need to harness and pull down into your life. And as soon as you set the intention that that's what you want, the universe coalesces around that intention and brings it into your experience. How many times have you thought about somebody and they called you on the phone, or you saw them on the street, or you ran into them at the store somewhere? How many times have you gone to the store, forgotten your list, and walked into the store, and there it is on the shelf going, it's me, it's me, it's me. It's providing for you all the time. But we need to trust that and not have the doubt that it's not going to be there. See, there's this inner power that is, it's plentiful. It's a source that is inexhaustible. In fact, let's just test it. Give it a test. See if the source is inexhaustible. Think of something. Set your intention on something and see if it doesn't happen. And if it doesn't happen, reset yourself about your belief around it and just affirm that is available to you. And add what Patty was talking about, this or something greater. And allow the universe to give you the stuff that's already out there. Trust is a hard thing to do. But nature gives us lessons on how to trust. Nature gives us lessons on how to trust all the time. Ever heard of a guy named Andrew Weil? Weil, right? Dr. Weil, yeah. So he, at one point in his life, he decided he would go off and be in the silence, kind of ground himself in nature, bought this property, had these huge cottonwood trees on it. And one day he's walking and he sees a baby owl floundering at the base of one of these cottonwood trees. And he looks up, and there at the top of the tree is a horned owl nest. And the horned owl mother looking down at the baby. He's like, I don't know what to do. Well, first thing he thought was, maybe I should try to feed it or something. So he tries to feed it and comfort the owl, but he didn't take it because he felt like that's not the right thing to do. So he called somebody. He said, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? And finally, he gets this old guy on the phone. He says, put it back. He says, what? Put it back in the nest. It's like 40 feet up. Put it back in the nest. It's a horned owl up there. Put it back in the nest. So he goes back and he gets his helper to help him with a ladder, and he puts the ladder up against the tree and coddles this baby owl, and there's the mother owl, looking down. And before he hung up the phone, the guy says, the mother owl will know what you're doing. Will know what you're doing. And sure enough, she just stared at him the whole time he was carrying that baby back up and putting it back up into the nest. Right? A few hours later, the guy who was helping him went back to get the ladder. Right? He goes back to get the ladder. He's pulling a ladder from the tree. The mother horned owl is like buzzing him because he didn't have the baby owl and he was not putting the baby owl back in the tree. She's like, what are you doing here? Right? Nature gives us the lessons in trust. Nature gives us the lessons in trust. The mother owl trusted that that man was bringing his baby back. And the mother owl trusted her instincts that now the baby's up here, the ladder is a threat. I better get this guy out of here. Nature has given us these lessons all the time about trusting. And I'm telling you here that maybe we could use that lesson to trust that there is enough coming forth for us in the universe. So I ask you, what are you holding on to? I know what I'm holding on to. Way too much stuff in the garage. I get that. But I think sometimes we may be holding on to beliefs. Beliefs that no longer serve us, beliefs that limit us, beliefs that take us away from the joy of life, beliefs that hold us back from experiencing more greatness, experiencing more peace. You know, that rumbling that keeps you up in the middle of the night. Maybe it's an old belief that's replaying, that you're trying to get rid of, but it's holding on because it's been, see, the brain has got all this stuff going on here, and I like to think of it kind of like a city in some regards, and some of the thoughts we have are traveling on busy, open highways, something you maybe don't know about unless you have gone to, like, the Midwest. Their freeways actually go fast. But some of our thoughts are on freeways. They're just racing along. And some of our thoughts are on side streets with speed bumps and roundabouts and stop signs. And those thoughts, those are the new thoughts, right? But the old thoughts, and some of those old thoughts are some we need to let go of. Some of those old thoughts are traveling down these super fast highways. What we need to do is to offer it an off-ramp, an exit ramp onto some side street. And so we can build, by thinking more of what we want in our lives, we can build those thoughts into freeways. And by thinking less of what we don't want, we can take those thoughts and turn them into side streets. What it really takes for us to do is to begin to think about what it is that truly satisfies us, to know what we want, what we need, what our desires are. Because enough is about understanding our needs, desires, and having those being fulfilled. What do you really want? Back to Maria Kondo, she says there's one way to really know what you really want. She says the best way to find out what we really need is to get rid of what we don't. The best way to find out what we really need is to get rid of what we don't. That goes for beliefs as well. Find out what we want by getting rid of the beliefs that block us from more health. Getting rid of the beliefs that block us from the experience of more love. Dropping those beliefs that don't inspire us to be greater than we are today. Drop those beliefs that don't serve what we think our purpose in life is. Drop those beliefs that keep us separate and isolated and alone, that keep us from connecting. Drop those beliefs that don't allow us to have and find and experience significance with life, meaning with life. Because I tell you what, when we're out of here, it's not going to be how much stuff in the garage that people are talking about. On those final moments before the great escape to the next great adventure in the eternity of life itself, we're not going to be thinking about, I really should have bought that Cadillac. I mean, it's a really pretty car. I saw one this morning driving by. The Italian design, the edges on those things. But you know what? On the last day, it's going to be, why didn't I call my brother more? Although he would be saying, you call me 3 times a week already. Isn't that enough? But I could go for 5. You know? Why didn't I take another vacation? Why didn't I eat a little more ice cream? Yes. Right? Amen. Amen. You know? Or for some of you, chocolate. But what do you want? What serves your sense of need for love, for health, for inspiration, for purpose, for significance, for meaning, for connection? And are you getting enough of it? Because it's available. The universe is here to provide it for you. So how do we arrive at this place of enough? Well, from a spiritual perspective, Dr. Holmes has some insights. He says, your endeavor is not so much to find God as it is to realize God's presence and to understand that this presence is always with you. It's so easy to forget. Particularly in our culture where we think we do it all ourselves. We don't do anything ourselves. How many had breakfast this morning? Okay. How many made breakfast this morning? Think about that. Did you really make that breakfast? Or did you just do the final touches? Because somebody brought it to the store, somebody grew it, somebody packaged it, right? Somebody owned the land. All this stuff, all these people. You probably can't even imagine how many people it was to get you to have breakfast this morning or to have the chair that we're sitting on. We don't do any of this alone. And the reason we don't do any of it alone is back to that thing. There's only one undivided experience called God, called Spirit, called Source, called Universe, whatever word you want to use. If God freaks you out, I don't care, that's fine. Find the word for you that explains this infinity in which we live, that everything is contained within. And once we understand that, it's a little easier to realize this great endeavor, to realize God's presence, and to understand that it is always with us because it is us. We are the experience of God. And the wonderful thing about this universal presence, it's very patient, very patient. It will wait for you to get your act together. And it's awfully forgiving because it has waited for you to get your act together. And the enough stuff is already sitting on the universal shelf waiting for you to pick it off. It's waiting. It's waiting. It's loving and it's kind. So, since it's loving, kind, and forgiving and patient, we have time. We have plenty of time. And there are some operations. Deepak Chopra talks about this practice to figure out your desires, what you want, what you need. It's called stop. So, when you're about to buy something or think a thought and you get a little funny feeling about it, that funny feeling is say, stop. Yeah. Stop that action right there, okay? The next one is T, take a breath. Take a breath. And then O, observe. Observe what it is you're about to do, what it is you're about to think, what it is you're about to buy, what it is you're about to throw away, whatever it is, just stop. Stop, take a breath, observe it. And once you've done that operation of observing after taking a breath and stopping the action, now you can proceed forward with awareness. Not telling you what to do, but this is a process that you can use on your journey to finding your enough. It's called, by a guy named Daniel Siegel from UCLA, a neuropsychologist, he calls it response flexibility. Be flexible in your responses. This is why we do the meditation, to be reflexive in our responses, so that we're not just reacting from the limbic system of the brain. So we're using this cerebral cortex part up here, the civilized part, that can actually determine and think and measure and rate is it going to work for us? Is it going to bring us more joy, more happiness in our lives? Because that's really what it's all about. And if we can pause before we take some of the actions, see, pausing equals wise choices. Pausing equals awareness. It's the reactive way of living that has brought us into some of the experiences we're having today. I think it's the reactive way of living that created a word that we're still trying to figure out what it is. Kofifi! Did you just snort? Was it that funny? But pausing. If I had paused a few more times prior to this, I might have space in my garage today. If you pause, you may find peace of mind coming at you more quickly. If you pause, you may find more love showing up in your heart. Back to Maria Kondo for a minute. She says, we all struggle to keep ourselves on the right track. The goal isn't perfection, it's improvement. The biggest room in the world is the room for improvement. We are all here to journey to a higher experience of life. And to know, see, I think that higher experience is to know that enough is enough. That right here in this moment, I can be completely satisfied as I take stock, trust the presence, rely on the universal source that is inexhaustible, loving, kind, and forgiving. It's got my good sitting on the shelf waiting for me. Enough is there for you today. And so it is. Wow. So, here it is again. Ready? In a universe of plenty, I know enough is more than adequate. It satisfies my every need. And did you notice I'm capitalized it? Because it, the power of the present, satisfies your every need. Yes. Let's do some prayer. But I think I want the prayer box. Thank you, Patty. Nice. Anyway, it's on a round table. It's good. All right, so this is our time for healing prayer, and what we have been doing, and it feels. Are you liking the way we're doing the prayer thing? It's feeling really good up here to feel that energy and to feel us all in that one mind that we're talking about. So if you're new to the center today, what we're doing is we go into what we call affirmative prayer. In Science of Mind, we don't beseech or beg the universe, which is already giving everything and made it available to us. We just claim, accept, and declare that which is ours. So in this moment, what we're going to do is ask everyone in the room to think about either their own condition or condition in someone's life that they want to claim a new experience for, a better experience for, right? So that's what's going to happen. We'll come together in that, and then I'll pray the prayer. All right? So let's hear. What are we declaring today? And for who? Resting in the divine presence and knowing that there is one life, that it's God's life, that it's my life and the life of every person here in this room. I recognize that we are unified in this experience called life. There is no separation. Even that we think we put up as a block between us and that is only a facade. It's an illusion. For there's only the one that is all loving, all giving, kind, compassionate, understanding, and patient. So it is from this place that I can speak a word of truth for every person here in this room, every person that we have held in our hearts and minds, and those that are beyond this space that we have not consciously called on in this moment. We open the universe to a healing for them as well. I speak a word of blessing for those in the city of London who are dealing with the expressions of others who are trying to find their way toward their enough. And as misguided as it appears, I know that it gives us the opportunity to give love and compassion and to hold a high watch for the world, that this is no longer necessary, that peace and love will prevail because it's there, it's available. So through our grasping of it and our accepting of it, our claim of it, we make it available to the world. That same truth is available for each and every person here who is looking for right action in their life, for divine guidance to know theirs that is to do, their star that they are to grab. For those that are looking for a physical healing, like our dear Sherry Deeds, who's getting her hips fixed today. For those that are dealing with something that breaks the heart, transition of a loved one, two-legged, four-legged, winged. Love hurts when we have to let go, but love remains even as we let go. So we allow love to be that healing balm on each and every heart that is feeling any sense of loss from transition this day. You see, I live in this universe of love and possibility, and it gives me an optimistic flow with life, and I just speak that word of optimism for each and every person here now in this space. And so with a heart that is filled with gratitude and a mind that knows that God loves to give, for it is God's good pleasure to give us the kingdom, and right now we accept, and in that acceptance we release to this law that we trust that provides by saying, and so it is.